Am I happy? See, those kinds of questions make me think to myself, why? Who you been talking to? Is anybody ever really truly happy? I don't know, you know? I mean, I've pretty much gotten everything in life that I've ever asked for. I get to ride motorcycles, I get to tour the world, I get to meet people from all over the world, I get to play in front of large crowds all over the place, I get to work in a recording studio, write music, be creative. Considering the alternatives, yeah, I'd have to say I am happy. Chris and I went to high school together. I think, you know, Mick went to a different high school and Clown was a Catholic school kid. We were kind of spread out, but I mean, Des Moines is not a very big city, so. And if you're playing, you know, metal or rock music or anything like that, you kind of know who everybody is. There's a lot of strong personalities in Slipknot. Everybody's very individual and everybody's very opinionated, and there's a lot of alpha going on in this band, which can make it difficult. But when you have people that are that good at what they do and peers that are at a certain level and they are as into it as I am and they are as confident about it, then that's another reason to just kind of, I don't really feel any pressure because everybody feels good about everything.
This band is very much like, the only thing I can compare it to is like a football team. Because you look back at what you've done and you're like, okay, how do we fix it? Like, what can we do to make it better? Okay, we could try this. Oh, we can do that. Maybe doing this into that song, you know? And it's because we care so much about it that we want to make sure that every fucking moment is perfect, you know? And I don't think a lot of people do that anymore. I think they either don't care enough or they let machines do it for them. And we're just not that fucking band.
We're unique because everybody writes and everybody's creative. So when you have that many creative people, like I was talking about earlier, the alpha guys and the opinionated guys and the artistic guys, you know, it's okay to kind of step back because, I mean, it's about the whole picture, you know what I mean? And if it's good for the whole, and you know, if I try to make myself better at what I do, it's only going to benefit everybody that's involved with it. And I think everybody has, you know, that similar outlook, or at least they ought to. If it's good for what we're doing and it makes sense and we believe in it, that's the most important thing right there, is if we believe in it, then you can't fail. You know, a lot of circumstances and a lot of turn of events and a lot of things changed. A lot of shit is changing in my world, and it's kind of like making my fucking head spin. And some things happen that I, in a million years, never would have thought would have happened, but for whatever reason they did. That really kind of fueled me to just kind of put my head down, go into my garage every night where we filmed the previous DVD. And I just put my head down and I started writing every day. You know, I started writing arrangements and putting together the arrangements in my garage in November. We were emailing songs to Corey for vocal ideas, you know what I mean, so that he could start his writing process.
One of the great things about Jim is that when he sends you music, you're not sure what it's going to sound like. when he sent me the stuff that he and Clown were really kind of hammering out together, it was ridiculous. It was really, I mean, I was like, whoa, this is like serious quality, you know. So, and because of that, I mean, it gave me so much room to write, you know.
You know, I'd wake up at fucking whatever time I'd get out of bed, sometimes 7, 8, 9 in the morning, sometimes 2 in the afternoon. And I'd go out into the garage and I would write. Whether it was good or not, I didn't care. I just put arrangements together, as many as I could, as much as I could, until I had 15 or 16 tunes. And in the meantime, I was sending them back and forth to Clown.
Here we go?
Yeah.
I think he took everything that he needed to do and he stuck it into so much creativity that and by the end of it was just like, holy Jesus, like we've got all this, you know, really good stuff. What are we gonna do, you know?
That was a process, and it was fun, and I love doing that stuff, and it's great. But then you get to a point where, you know, if every day you treat it like a job, you know, you wake up and you go and you work for a certain amount of hours, and some days you work for more hours than other days, but you get to a point where, you know, after like 15 or 16 arrangements, I was like finding myself starting to struggle for, you know, ideas to start new stems, to start working on new songs. And then that's to me where it became apparent that we needed to get out here and start working. Greg Fiddleman was our first engineer when we worked with Rick Rubin on the Subliminal Verses. So he's always been, and I've always wanted to work with him again. He's probably one of my favorite producers to work with. And then, you know, there's things that happen in the meantime, like, you know, leaving Florida to come to LA, breath of fresh air, moving into a studio to start doing this stuff, and then that levels off, and then you get to a point where you're struggling for ideas again. And then, but you know, there's light at the end of that tunnel because, you know, the rest of the band's coming out, and that means more creativity and, you know, fresh ideas and all that stuff. And then, you know, moving out of a hotel, we lived out of a hotel for 2.5 months, I think. We were living in a hotel. So we moved out of the hotel, moved into a house, moved out of Sound Factory into Sunset Sound. We started at Sound Factory, and Sound Factory is connected to this, and this is Sunset Sound. When me and Clown came over to kind of look at the joint, the first thing we saw was that. We went to take a tour of Sunset Sound, and they're like, this is the studio that would be available for you. Studio 2. Paul's number is 2. It's like, me and Clown looked at each other like, look, he's already here before we even get here, saying, this is where you're gonna do the record, dickheads. You know what I mean? So, in the early days of this, and when we lost Paul, it was like, you know, any of this can be taken away at any time. It's still affecting me. I mean, he's greatly fucking missed. I mean, he was kind of like the one guy in Slipknot that everybody went to. He was the, you know, like I said, when we were talking about the Iowa record, it was Paul that called me up and said, hey, fucker, let's go write. You know what I mean? He was that guy that was the motivating factor all the time. So that's definitely missed. I mean, you know, when we're on stage, the little things like, you know, because we always stood next to each other on stage, you know, and I'd hear woo out of his mouth next to me, and then I'd be like, yeah, you know, I mean, like we'd yell back and forth at each other while we're playing. And, you know, I miss that type of shit. I mean, we'll never move on. I mean, he's always going to be a part of everything that we do. I mean, if it weren't for the memory of Paul and Paul's mentality, I wouldn't have been able to write the way I wrote. You know, I mean, real quick, going back to the writing process in the garage, I mean, I found myself doing a lot of things in the garage that I don't normally do when I write. And I started realizing that what I was doing was what Paul would do when he wrote. You know, Paul would explore every position of a riff. He would try it in different places, and he would, you know, turn it around backwards, try it forwards, try it here, try it there. And I never did that when I wrote. I was a little lazier when I'd write. I'd just like, here's the riff, that's what I'm gonna do, fuck it, leave it at that. And I found myself when I was writing these songs doing that. And it really made me feel like Paul was with me, helping me write this shit. You know, we're never gonna move on from Paul. We just can't. He's a part of us till we're not doing what we do anymore. So this is Studio 2, where we did main drum tracking, main left and right guitar tracking, scratch bass on the floor, and just a little tiny bit of third guitar tracks, just like whatever we could catch while we were doing main left and right tracks with Mick and I. And so many like epic records have been done here. I mean, Van Halen, The Doors. I mean, they have the echo chamber, you know, that's on all the Doors records, and the Eddie Van Halen guitar sound and all that stuff is in Studio 1, which we can't get into, which would be awesome to show you that, but maybe some other time. I mean, it was really hard. You can see there's not a lot of room behind this board, but we were like stacked in. We had amps. We had a big rack over by where Tim is, just to the ceiling with amps on it, and this was all guitars and amps. This is main tracking room. Come on in. We had the floor bass was set up in that little room. In this ISO room is where Mick and I had our guitar cabinets set up. And then we basically sat around here. Drum set was set up here, you know, and we had like all of our Slipknot shit hanging from the walls and some clown artwork and sculptures hanging up. And I sat right there, and when Corey was in here singing, he would sing in the piano room. And this was where the drums for the new Slipknot record were done. I mean, this is kind of it. It's simple, man. Less is more with this place. Let's go check out Studio 3. Gordon was in charge of Studio 3 while Fiddleman was over here working, and we were kind of bouncing back and forth. But this is where like all the really arty, kind of creative, just let's see what can happen kind of shit would take place. Clown took over this room and basically had it full of all of his stuff. Bent circuitry, you know, speaking spells that are all manipulated to make weird noises and crazy shit, and, you know, Moogs and just really cool, fun toys, you know. Here's a control room. Sort of a kind of a custom-made desk, like a custom-made API kind of but it's not like a full-on API desk. It's kind of weird. Very cool desk nonetheless. There again, we had this place just stacked, fucking guitars everywhere and amps and everything, and all our gear was set up in here for rehearsal. So we had like our live racks, Mick and I's A-rigs set up in there. Old vibey cool thing, you know. We were kind of set up like this, Sid there, Craig over here, drums here. Didn't really write as a full band per se in here. Most of the writing was done in the control room, just like with stems, you know, starting the stem of an idea and then layering and building and layering, you know, and then Jay would come out and play drums. The studio's cool. You got like 3 or 4 different studios. You have all the Pro Tools suites kind of along this back wall here, but all the artists kind of intermingle in the common area where the basketball court is. So you might run into Ryan Adams, or Alanis Morissette was here the other day walking around with a little baby, and I'm trying to like hide from her with my cigarette, you know. And then we just, I don't know if you can imagine, but we have a shitload of fucking gear. I mean, and this place, and it was all here. Like all my guitars from Iowa, I had shot like 30 guitars here, so this place was just, like you could barely walk through here. There were racks stacked up in here, effects pedals and guitars stacked all the way down in there. That's just another little kind of ISO room. You know, this was all our gear. I wonder if it's still here. It is. Why this is not hanging up, I have no idea. But this thing has probably been here since 1979, October. Hang that shit up. So that's it. Sunset Sound. Yo. You know, Sunset Sound, we got to a point there where we did all the main tracking of the drums, did left and right guitars there, and just a handful of like maybe third guitar track ideas. And then it was time to move out of Sunset Sound and over here to Westlake. So we're at Westlake Studio now, working on the next Slipknot release. This is studio number 3, and whatever, we'll get to all that stuff later. Some of these are my basses too. So I got this Silverburst Gibson. You know, we're recording a record, so variety is the key. You know, I've been using mainly this guitar to do all the left and right guitar tracks with. Main guitar tracks is always my number one telly for whatever reason. It's the guy. It just has the best sound. For whatever reason, it covers all the frequencies, and it's my main number one prototype that is always getting filmed here and there. And now I wrote Keith Richards wood on the back. Basses, got the Steve Harris bass, got kind of a Frankenstein Geddy Lee / Roger Waters bass, and then just like a Guitar Center Jazz P bass that I bought while we were out on the road sometime. And here's my stainless steel with the patinaed copper Strat Sig model. Love this guitar. This may end up being a limited color that we put out sometime eventually in all of the models, Jazzmaster, Tele, and Strat. I would like to do that because it's different, you know. If you come this way, like I said, we shipped so many guitars home, I don't even remember what we have left here, so let's find out. So it looks like I've got another one of my white basses. I'm playing bass on some of this record too, so kind of flipping duty between guitar and bass. And then I've got my Gilmore Sig, Relic Gilmore, beautiful guitar, love this guitar. But I'm sure it'll make some of the third guitar track stuff that we're doing, some of the weird sounds and clean stuff that we're going to be getting into. Another P-bass, Fiddlemans. Here are my touring vaults, and these aren't necessarily going to be touring guitars right now. They're just whatever we've been using in the studio. So looks like that's my A number 4 Tele, my white A Strat, Robbie Robertson body. Fender sent me a body, Martin put it together, Silverburst. Pretty bitchin', pretty loud in here. And then we just got, you know, I mean, they're all my signature models, so you're gonna get what you're gonna get. Strats and Teles and Jazzmasters. Probably saw this one at download from the last video. And in here I've got Gibson. This is a custom shop, 67 reissue. 67 custom shop reissue, Silverburst. Sounds really good. It's got hotter pickups than the older ones, you know. My beloved Silverburst Tele. This is a great guitar. It actually made the record a few different spots. Another signature model Strat, maple fretboard. And then here's the other 2 prototypes of the Jazzmasters. See, they got the 60s neck instead of the 70s headstock on them. That's how I know they're the prototypes. This is the number 1 prototype, the one that used to have the maple neck that I've had the longest. And this one has made the record, and it's one of the good, for whatever reason, the prototype ones, it's always the first prototype one that they make, always has like a weird sound. It's getting more and more beat. Next time you film it, it'll look like it's 30 years old. It's already starting to turn off-white. And we've been at Westlake for maybe a month now, pushing a month now, but we just lost the house on the 1st of June, so, you know, that means moving back into hotel rooms for the remainder of the time out here, so. So the last record that we did that felt like a band doing a record was the Subliminal Verses, and we wanted to get back to that feeling, which, you know, Philman was the first engineer on that record. He was the guy sitting next to me running Pro Tools and, you know, mixing shit and saying, hey, why don't you try this and why don't you try that? So, you know, although Rick Rubin produced it, the guy that we saw every day and the guy that we were or at least the guy I was communicating with was Fiddleman. And also the guy that was communicating and trying to get really great performances out of Paul, you know, so I think it was important that we brought sort of the vibe from that that time in our lives or career or whatever you want to call it back. And that's kind of what motivated me to sit down and write a bunch of arrangements, you know. And also I was kind of like, it's been too long. It's fucking, what are we waiting for? You know, I mean, we've started the healing process from Paul not being with us anymore by touring for 4 fucking years without an album out. You know when your alarm's going off in the morning, but you have one of those gradual alarms that just kind of starts really quiet, and all of a sudden it just becomes so fucking loud, you can't believe that you didn't hear it when it was quiet, and you just want to throw it across the fucking room. That's kind of what it was like, the notion that this record needed to be made. Fucking, we flew out to LA to try out. Drummer dude. You know, and I had already written, like, say, 7 or 8 arrangements. So I took those 7 or 8 arrangements with me to LA and jammed a bunch of old Slipknot songs with new Jack drummer. Jay didn't even know why he was there. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, Jay, you're fucking gonna play some Slipknot songs with Slipknot today. Well, not even with Slipknot, with me and Mick and Corey singing randomly. So anyways, we went home after that week, and then I wrote I think I wrote another 6 or 7 more arrangements. I guess let's
you
fucking
can
get settled.
Yeah, here.
We got Sid and Craig now go up and down, as you can see, and Sid's pissed off because every time that thing moves, it skips his fucking records. So we got to figure that out. Obviously, they're still trying to figure out the drums. They're still welding on shit. This is kind of where the bass player gets to be now. So he's like he's stoked. He's like right in the middle of everything. Except for he's got fire to deal with. And they said that we could walk, like if there's a song that doesn't have pyro, but the previous song had pyro, they just said that this is going to be pretty hot. So as long as, you know, I don't think it'll melt our shoe soles or anything necessarily, but if I, you know, trip and fall and put my hand down, then I'll probably burn the fuck out of my hand. So I might just stay off of here altogether, you know. Fire. Yeah, well, we've got, like, that's the pyro area, and we have spotters. So there's the guy that's firing the pyro, and then there's his crew, and on stage left and stage right, there's spotters that keep an eye on, you know, where everything's at, and they make sure that one of us isn't where fire is going to be. So if there's a pyro cue that's supposed to happen and I'm fucking standing here, then they'll be like, don't shoot pyro, you know.
It's got a little different color in certain lights, he said. He said if it hits fluorescent, you'll see it teal. Yeah. He said, but it's going to do different things under stage light, which might be cool.
It's because they had to make a laminate over the top.
Yeah, but they turned them around for we got 2 of them.
If you got time to set both of these up,
yeah. I do. I want
this one here, I like the feel of the neck a little bit better. It feels like it's a little thinner than the other one. But if it doesn't set up as well as the other one,
we do that one first.
This one feels a little fatter.
Yeah, that is. I feel it.
Million is whole band, and then Mick's got the solo in the middle. I just realized, I was looking at it, like, you realize we're playing less songs tomorrow than we are today. There you go. No worries, bro.
Awesome.
Feel it? Alright, good.
I think the most we've ever done here was 25. We had like the record for Mayhem. But I think we're going to beat that with this. this. I think we've already sold like 20 tickets each night, 20,000 tickets. It's just a lot. I mean, everything started rolling so fast, you know. I mean, we had to get 2 new stages built for the new stage set, you know. Instead of doing an A and B rig that are different from each other, we wanted them to be exactly the same, so that took time. And then there's still troubleshooting. There's like a big video, not like a video screen, but like a big mirrored kind of like vortex wall looking thing. They had the wrong mirror on the front of it, so they had to fix that. And we're trying to figure out, like, the drum riser was way too fucking high, so we brought that back down to real life, you know, and trying to figure out where the bass player was going to stand, because now the stage is different, and he couldn't kind of be back by the drum riser because now we have ramps there, and all the pyro is built into the set. So where he was planning on standing, there's now fire there, so he couldn't stand there. So now he's stoked because he's like right in the fucking middle in front of the drums right now, so like right behind Corey.
Cool lads, hanging out, being tough. Just being a bunch of hunks.
Huh. There it is. That's the ESTA that's always burning on our stage. Oh, there's my pedal board. Hey, I need that POG. God, the amount of shit you fucking acquire. You know, we would still have the Iowa set, but I cut it up with a fucking metal blade.
Gave that shit away.
And I fucking all scrapped from the warehouse there. I was like, Clown, hey man, what are we doing with the Iowa set? He's like, fuck that thing. It's fucking too heavy. So I fucking all night, dude. Me and a buddy of mine that's a chopper builder just cutting the fucking thing up with sawzalls.
Oh, sawzalls. That'll be fun. Get the nice smoke going.
Fucking how many orange cabinets do I have? Man. Look at those. Those haven't even been worn, the white ones there. I think we should go back to those black ones from the Iowa cycle. Those were fucking badass. Kane, are they going to be able to just like walk through here?
Yeah, they're gonna.
Is there going to be shit?
We're gonna put bike racks up.
Okay.
So they can't get to anything. We'll also have security on both sides.
Are you going to throw out all the like old passes and shit?
They thought that'd be a bad idea.
Because we were letting them kind of grab, if they could reach a pass, they could have it kind of thing last time.
We should put it in like all the shit that's like this. Maybe put it inside the fucking.
Put it in there.
Yeah.
That's the thing that Joey's inside on Mate Feed Kill Repeat. So glamorous, this life. Shows have been fucking awesome. Crowds have been fucking awesome. The venues have been fucking awesome. Everything has been really fucking awesome. Flying to Japan in the middle of it to do Knotfest was fucking awesome. But tiring, you know, because we were only there for like 4 days, so just enough time to get sort of the Japanese time down and then leave and come back and be jet lagged for the last week.
It was, man, you want to talk about a bundle of crazy neurosis going on yesterday, man, because we were all stoked, but then we were all fucking nervous as shit. And then, like, there was just that moment where we were all elated, you know, we were all kind of putting our stuff on and getting ready to go for it, and we just kind of realized, like, fuck, the moment's here, you know, because it'd been, you know, it seemed like this was months away, you know, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're putting the new shit on, we're putting the new masks on, we're getting ready to play new music and a new set for a new generation of fans, and it's almost like it creeps up on you, you know, so there's that moment of trying to embrace it, and yet not overthink it, you know, like, and psych yourself out, because we've been known to do that as well. And Sometimes it doesn't go well.
I don't want to start taking things too personally. I don't want to start, even if it's good press or bad press, Just like the whole social media thing, There could be 1,000 good comments and one bad one, and it's like, well, hey, motherfucker, It's like I'm out here working my ass off, and I'm very passionate about what I do, and I really care about what it is that I do. And there's a lot of other people that give a shit. So, to have somebody's opinion weigh heavy on my soul, I just don't need it. So I'm happy with the record, and I love the record, and the guys in the band love it, and they're happy with it. So that's, to me, the most important thing, because if we're happy with it, then that translates. That'll kind of bleed through into everything else that we do.
We gotta play some music.
Yes, we are. Kerrang! 5. They'll give us 5 now, so the next record they can give us 2.
I was really happy with the way we played. I've been saying this all day. We played an hour and a half set in an hour. We fucking punk rocked the shit out of that, dude. It was gnarly. But it was cool, Like, it didn't feel fast, though. Like, in the moment, you're just like, go for it. And then you get to the encore, and you're like, what do you mean we've only played an hour? Really? Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Because, I was standing on the side having a cigarette, and I'm looking out. And apparently there's more people here tonight than there was last night. Which, there was a fucking lot of people last night, man, And I'm like, how does that work, And I'm standing there and I'm watching the lights kind of gloss over like fucking tens of thousands of people out there. And they're all having a blast, They're ready and they're having a good fucking time. And I'm like, fuck, this is our name. When we put our name on something, we've always tried to strive to make it mean that there's quality to it. That there's meaning, there's something inside. It's not just a fucking sticker on a bumper. It's more than that, So I'm still kind of trying to process how I feel about that. The fact that, we put these on, and with just word of mouth, it was selling like crazy. And now the moment's here, and it's like there's so many fucking kids out there ready for us to play again. After we just played last night, I'm blown away, It's one of those moments that it's very easy to be humbled, Like I'm ecstatic.
I don't ever think that anything that I'm involved with is just immediately going to be well received or awesome or that's fucking gold or that's fucking great or any of that shit, and maybe that's part of a driving force that drives you to, to always kind of be better and all that. But, no matter how good you are, no matter, how well received you are, there's always going to be somebody, something better, something different. And, let's face it, what we're doing is a form of art. It's like that whole jazz thing, what's the difference between a jazz band and a rock band, Jazz player plays 1 million notes in front of 3 people, and the rock guy plays 3 notes in front of 1 million people, that whole thing. It's all a balance, man. Like I said, everything's give and take, and it's all subjective to opinion, which everybody likes to give these days. Everything in life that you have is give and take. I don't think you can ever really have it all. There's always a price to pay for certain things, and I get to do what I want to do for a living, and I get to be creative, and I love it. But you sacrifice a lot of like privacy and a sense of sort of feeling grounded, which I don't know if I'd be happy with feeling grounded. That might be, I don't think that's the ticket for me, a little bit of a free spirit. But I'm also not 20 years old either, so I'm fucking blessed at the end of the day. I really am. I got killer signature guitar from, biggest company in the world, guitar-wise, the Fenders. Not just one, the Strat, the Tele, and the Jazzmaster. I'm in one of the biggest metal bands in the world. It's kind of awesome. And today was Paul's birthday. And I just, there was a song that we had written that didn't make it to the Gray chapter, and I wanted these guys to hear it. And I was hoping that at some point we could release it, and I don't know if we're ever going to release it. But these guys heard it, and you know, I want this DVD, as this album is dedicated, you know, to the memory of Paul and his life and all the great things that he brought to all of us, and the things that he taught me as a human being, as a musician, as a guitar player. You know, they're still with me and they'll never be gone. So happy birthday, Paul. Miss you, brother.
To know that some fucking dumbass from Iowa could sit in his garage and throw 18 arrangements together in the course of a month and a half, and then get together with all of his friends and turn it into what it became, it's a pretty gratifying feeling, you know. And I still don't know what it means. I still don't know what the impact of it yet, and maybe it hasn't even really hit me yet. I know I really enjoyed working on the material, and I really enjoyed, you know, the recording process. I love being in studios now. I used to kind of hate it, but now I feel comfortable in studios now and live, you know. I mean, there's nothing like a live show. There never will be anything like a live show, but to be able to dive fully into the creative process in a studio with like-minded people and people who have similar interests and are very good at what they do. You know, very lucky to be working with guys like Jim Monty and Greg Fiddleman, Sarah Killian, you know, the crew that we had working with us in the studio. It just makes everything so easy and fun to do, you know. It's like no longer this like kind of intimidating, daunting sort of, oh fuck, studio, everything's under a microscope, you know. It's fun, man, and I'm really starting to learn a lot more about myself as a songwriter and a musician because of it, and I think that's important. I think it's important to always continue to evolve and learn and try to better yourself without really sort of changing what it is that you are, you know what I mean? But, you know, evolving, becoming something new.
Kill. Shotgun